When it comes to older, unique games, nothing can get as badass and experimental like Army of Two. Funny enough, I first got into this series playing it with my dad. It's how I got into shooters, where my dad would carry me through the missions of the first one because, of course, I was like 8 or 9, and we were just playing it just to have fun. Looking back, I really sucked at the game, but it was fun switching weapons, going back to back, and fighting waves of enemies with my dad. So, what happened? What happened to Army of Two? Well, to put it bluntly, to put it plainly to everybody else, it just couldn't compete. It couldn't compete with monsters like Call of Duty, Battlefield, and other fun games at the time that were coming out. Especially with the third game, The Devil's Cartel, being so unpopular with fans and critics that it just essentially killed the game series. The game was fun. It had fun little mechanics that set it apart from other games with its co-op elements, and it's pretty interesting with its story, the characters, and the character chemistry, which was something that everybody that is a fan of the series loved. Oh man, the drip, the fashion, the mask. Oh my god, the armor, the weapons, they were honestly amazing. And as the series progressed, they just got better and better. Like, granted, the Devil's Cartel had some bomb ass cool customization options, but that doesn't excuse the way the game came out. But you cannot deny the drip in the game series was amazing. So specifically, why did the series die? Simply is because the last installment, The Devil's Cartel, ditched a lot of what made Army of Two, right? Similarly to how the most recent Saints Row just didn't feel like Saints Row. The co-op mechanics were toned down. We got new characters whose chemistry weren't that great or interesting. We could only play as one of these two characters, and the story, it just went in a direction that no one really agreed with, and they didn't really fuck with how the game, ended up like direction wise. So that's why the game failed horribly. That and being launched around other notable titles like BioShock Infinite really did nail this series down into hell to never be seen again. However, recently, I've seen some co-op games slowly rack up games under its belt, like It Takes Two, A Way Out, Cuphead, and I think Army of Two returning from the dead to lead the way for co-op games would be honestly pretty badass in my opinion. So, can this series be revived is the biggest question. How would you guys like this series to be revived essentially? A remake, possibly a movie, a live action series, a live action movie or animated series or whatever, right? What would you prefer? What direction would you want this series to go in if you had the chance to revive it? Honestly, I'd love to see a mixture of a remake and animated series to help bridge the gap between the games if possible. A remake refining the first game's mechanics and gameplay into something perfect for its original audience to enjoy. More and better co-op mechanics, better gunplay, perhaps even add more vehicles, weapons, drip, and honestly dual execution animations and more cinematic moments. Also, for the story, if they do remake the first one, I'd love for the story to remain mostly the same. Maybe even give us a chance to go on side contracts instead of plowing through the main story, to get our drip up, to get our money up, and, get better weapons, and so on, right? It would be pretty cool. For a 40th Day remake, I'd love Salem and Rios' PMC 2 to be a more integral part of the game, where the contracts accepted by 2 given to the other mercenaries would help Salem and Rios in real time make it easier for them to proceed with their suicide mission of a contract to take back Shanghai as the PMC's first big gig. To go more in detail, what Rios and Salem are doing in the front lines in Shanghai would open up more contracts for other members of 2 to pick up, complete and further expand 2's arsenal, technology, and information gathering to help Rios and Salem on the main campaign. Personally, Army of Two 1 and The 40th Days are great games, but if we do go down the Devil's Cartel route, phasing out Salem and Rios for newer blood, they need to have better chemistry than Alpha and Beta, these guys from the third game. Just no. Honestly, the third game could have had an aging Rios and Salem still trying to keep up with the new blood in the game. Seeing Rios and Salem mentor 2 new characters, and we could see them adopt the old blood's habits and behaviors, but still keep their own individuality and still be their own person would be nice. And doing this could build character between old and new blood, and honestly, that would be cool. It would be great to see the dynamic there. It would be nice. It would also be nice to see 2 grow as big as SSC, the PMC Rios and Salem took down in the first game, instead of character assassinating Salem and basically sidelining Rios. And, we could have had a campaign that involved like such an advancement in technology in the battlefield that a new PMC would crop up with enhanced mercs, making them more effective as a one-man army instead of the casual two-man army we're used to, that the Battlefield was used to. I think what they could do with an angle is where war never changes, but how to win a war does type of thing would make for a good end to Rios and Salem's run in the game, passing it along to their proteges we have seen through the games, and maybe even in animated series or movies or something like that, right? Speaking of animation and movies, like this aspect I talked about earlier, using animated movies or series to help bridge one game to the other and add more context and depth to the world can really help a franchise grow and develop. Look at how Star Wars does the same thing with its comics, giving us more context with what Vader was doing between episode 3 and 4. Sure, if you watched A New Hope and saw Vader being this dominant being, you'd think he's pretty badass, but after you watched the movie and read all about his crazy ass adventures as Vader, come on, you'd probably enjoy the character more and want to follow his story more. Same thing could be said for any franchise if they do it well. It would be so interesting to watch an animated series focus on two operatives on their individual missions around the world that help add more to the world of Army of Two. I think it would be pretty cool to watch a series where a pair of two guys take on waves of enemies, completing various amounts of objectives, and, doing this for characters we have played personally. Of course, giving these individuals character and actual depth to each duo could be challenging, but not every character has to be top tier. Just making the series entertaining and help elevate the franchise as a whole, makes everything, worth it in the end. I just want this series to return to form and be better than ever. Forget whatever the Devil's Cartel was trying to do and restart the universe and take things slow. Alright, that's honestly it. That's all I have for you guys today. Got any ideas on where this franchise should go? Comment down below. Thanks for the support, everyone. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and be safe, healthy, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Later.